ago when it first debuted in Boston. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We have two staff members on the platform with you today, and we would like to thank you for visiting historic Gettysburg.
Cool. What is this?
Turn the flash off.
10 miles west of here in a mountain pass. Meade wants to fight about 15 miles south of here on a creek just over the Maryland border. And neither general knows exactly where the other army is. And that's why General Buford's cavalry is in Gettysburg.
Pretty much where the Union was set up over there. Out where that big hump is. Over there, and then back to the other side of the town where that little cemetery is, where they were setting up to. Yeah. Actually,
occupies what's called East Cemetery Hill. An excellent defensive line stretches from Culp's Hill, then in about a quarter mile it swings due south about 3 miles. The Confederates are camped north, east, and west of town. The Union has good position on these hills. That area is where a Confederate general got his reputation, and where a lot of people believe the Confederates lost the war.
This road seems so peaceful and beautiful. The cannon seems small, almost like toys when compared with today's implements of war. There are over 400 cannon.
The town of Gettysburg
Turn around, Tom. Devil's Den.
Father Corby realized that he could not be in several places at the same time. So he devised a ritual that allowed him to give conditional absolution to over 2,000 men before they went into battle. Up ahead was the largest monument on the battlefield. It is the Pennsylvania Memorial, erected to honor the Pennsylvanians that fought here. If you have any relatives that were involved, and you know in what unit they served, you can find their name engraved on one of the bronze plaques placed all around the memorial. We will be returning to this area shortly and will dramatize the famous charge.
Ta-da! Oh, shit. I don't know. Ta-da! Yeah.
That was before they used dog tags and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Above the door here that said fallout shelter. Somebody that area over there is the sharpshooter's alcove, or what we refer to it as. That was the window that the sharpshooters were all gathered around. That's the window that they were firing out of. And that is the window that we theorize where the shot that killed Jenny Wade could have possibly come from. I would have saved like army person. So y'all get to see this. This was the morgue. You can just leave the door.
Leave it open?
Yeah, you
Okay.
It'll close on its own sometimes.
Yeah.
Not for ghosts. Not because of ghosts, but
Okay.
because it's a new door.
Okay.
But there were anywhere from 10 to 12 bodies that were found down here. There were some in the middle of the room, some in the back corner there, one back where that pew is, one back in the corner here by the mirror. There was a guy, he was shot in the shoulder, and he had bled to death, leaning up against the wall. One standing one laying right where your feet are right now, ma'am. And there was another guy on the opposite side of this door. He had died of gangrene from the neck down. So that's when your body begins to rot and decay and you're still alive. And back in our older part of the cellar, which is inaccessible to our tours, there were a couple other bodies that were found, as well as a hastily buried pile of limbs. So, pretty dark. We also have reason to believe that not everybody that was brought down here was dead from the hospital. We have one guy, apparently his men did not take kindly to what he was doing, and so they chose to save their own skin over having him risk their lives, and they shot him in the back. His name is Michael. He was brought down here, and he was not dead. So people will hear his ragged breathing and his desperate attempt to stay alive. And he's kind of one of the more grumpy. He's like with Walter. He's a grumpy Gus. He doesn't like people who were in the military. Well, he was shot by his own men, so that's one of the reasons. But he's the most active one down here. We have 3 real caskets: adult viewing casket, child viewing casket, and a regular child's casket. We also have 2 hair wreaths in the back there. One on the bottom left, that's the big one, and then the little one on the top right. They are intricately woven and made out of human hair. If you want to go take a look at that, shine a flashlight on it. It's painfully obvious that it is human hair, and it is really, really cool looking.
I actually seen one at a flea market and I didn't know what it was. Yeah, that's what it is.
I want one so bad. It's so freaking weird. I actually have half of a watch chain from the 1800s that's made out of human hair. My friend got it. She's a storyteller here. She got it when she used to work at an antique store. One of the next one down.
Yeah.
He gave it to her, and it broke in half because it was so fragile, and she gave me half of it, so it's like our friendship bracelet. Because we're weird like that. Isn't that neat, though? I saw one at an antique store, but it was like $400 because it was like a solid oak frame. It was huge, and it had other things like woven into it too. I'm like, oh, I want it so bad. I really want a hair locket, and there's a place down in the square that sells a couple of them, and I don't have like $400.
Did it have the hair in it already?
They weave it in there, and I was actually at the Heritage Center, and they gave me a card for a woman that if you send her your hair or your pet's hair, she'll make jewelry out of it. I think that's the coolest thing.
I had my great-grandmother's a lock of hair.
My mom has my brother and mine's like first haircut hair.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's weird to a certain extent that they would make jewelry out of it, but it's not. People forget that we still do this stuff. We keep the baby's first lock of hair, baby's first tooth. They just wanted to keep it with them at all times. So they would make jewelry out of it, memento mori, remembrance of death.
Right.
And that's how they would keep their loved ones with them.
Well, there was a lot more death back then.
There was a lot more death back then. People were very aware of their own mortality, especially after this.
Ooh, it's kind of... hospital flag.
Well, I'm just a lonely traveler and I don't know where I'm bound. Oh, but if I keep on moving, then I know that I'll be found. I'll climb high top of the mountain, call for he who holds the crown. But until that day, keep on wandering. Well, now in this world of wonders, there are things a man must see. There are trials he must know, and there are troubles he must meet. He must stare in the eyes of evil, know that he is free, till the good Lord calls. Keep on wondering. Now my father was a traveler and my mama stayed at home, and she cried the day that he walked out and left us on our own. Now I'm older than he was when I was born, and I don't know which way is home, so I'm wondering. Lord, I've seen your oceans, I've seen your mountains high. I've been lost inside your cities, I have seen the underside. Yeah, I know the troubles that plague a troubled man, but they can't catch me, I'm a wandering. No, they can't catch me, I'm a wandering. No, they can't catch me, I'm a wandering.